Hello friends, welcome. Well, I'm making a video today and I got a bit of paper here just to check up what I'm doing. Excuse me, I'm just starting my timer. This is in my awakening, and one day Peter said to me, if there's danger around you, Father God could give you a warning with either a red light in your mind's eye or a ringing in your ear. So, whichever ear. Anyway, it was only a couple of days later, and it was late in the evening, about 10 o'clock. I thought at the weekend, I thought I'd just go for a ride through Guildford, from the top of Guildford down North Street to the bottom of Guildford and then home, which wasn't far from there, because I was living in Guildford at the time. And I come to a set of traffic lights which are at the very top of North Street near what was a nightclub there, and I stopped at the red light, and it just started to change to amber, and I just lifted the clutch and just started moving, and I got a big red light flash right across the front of my inner eye in there, and I just slammed on the brake and clutch as quickly as I could. And just as I did this girl ran. She was running. She was all in black. I couldn't see her coming, and she just ran straight in front of my car. And she was inches away from the front of my car. There is absolutely no doubt whatsoever I'd have hit her, and I would have stopped before I ran her completely over, but I would have hurt her. And I don't know, she was a young girl. She was about 15, 16 maybe. But yeah, that was the warning, and it saved me hitting her, so I was very appreciative for that. And it was a proof, that I could be warned if ever needed. So that was the first thing. Now the next thing, which was Peter and I had gone out to do some errands somewhere, and I can't remember exactly what. But we were driving back down towards Belfields Estate on the Stoke Cemetery Road, and Peter had said to me a couple of days earlier that Father God could pay me visitations. He could come within my body and help me if there was a need to do so. And said that he'd had visitations. He spoke about a time when he was cutting down a hedge with a chainsaw, and he was really ill, and he was so tired he couldn't do it no more, and he asked Father God to take over. Father God come within his body, went carried on while Peter either was there resting or had gone through into the spirit realm himself for his own light, and Father God was cutting the hedges down for him. So that was quite funny. Anyway, we were coming down this road in his car, and it was a reasonably powerful car, a 2 litre, which is powerful for over here. And he was doing 30 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour limit. And all of a sudden, his foot went slamming to the floor, pedal to the metal, and we absolutely went hurtling down this road. And I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh. And we were up about 60 mile per hour, I should think. And then after about a quarter of a mile, he slowed down again, and Peter said, that wasn't me. That was Father God. So you're saying Father God had visited him and done that. So that was that. I guess it was a little proof to me that Father God can take control if ever needed, I guess. And anyway, I think it was the following weekend, which was a few days later. It was such a lovely weather in June, I think it was, of 95. We decided, 4 of us, that we'd go down to Bognor Regis, where I'm now living. I'm in Bognor Regis making this. So we thought we'd go down to Bognor Regis to the beach and have some fish and chips. And we got down to Bognor Regis and had a look round for an hour or so, and then decided we'd go over to another local beach at Climping, just to have a look at it over there and sit down on the beach for a while. And so we got to the car park there, and it's a private car park, and we pulled just inside the gate, and there's a car park ticket machine there. So I got out of the car because, let me just go back a minute. I'll carry on with that in a second. On the way down there, because this was important, that another warning it was. On the way down there, Peter said, "You can drive, I've got insurance for you to drive my car." So I was driving down there, and we got about 3 or 4 miles out of Guildford on a bit of dual carriageway, and Peter said, "Father God's just given me a warning, there's no oil in the car." So we stopped at the next garage, which was less than a mile away, and we pulled in, and Peter got out, opened the bonnet, and we pulled out the dipstick, Peter did, and there was not one drop of oil on the dipstick. So he got a 5-litre can of oil and put in there, and it only just come up to about halfway up the dipstick, so where it should be, but it was enough to get us there and back. Anyway, carry on. We got to the car park. I got out, and it was really quite badly windy. I don't know how windy it was that day, but it was really blowing, and it was very windy. And I put my money in the car park, expecting it to give me some sort of, a paper ticket or one of these sticky back ones. It just dropped a paper ticket into the drawer, and the wind caught it instantly. It went whoosh like this in front of me, and I had time to go like that. I couldn't possibly, and I had visualizations of it instantly of me having to run down the car park trying to catch this ticket in a 30-40 mile per hour wind, because it was really windy. And just as it was going just out of my reach, my hand went out, went boom like that, and Father God had visited me, and he caught that ticket between my middle finger and my thumb, and it was perfect, just at the very edge of it. So, it was lightning fast. I've never known anything. I mean, nothing else in me moved, just my arm. It just went whoosh, like this, caught the ticket. And I knew it was Father God that done that. So that was my first visitation of God. And he was inside my body doing that fully as a spirit. So it was amazing. And I'm not going to talk about this, because it was a stupid thing of me to do. But a week or 2 later, I was out somewhere, and I did something really stupid, and I would have been hurt and ended up in hospital if I had not been saved by Father God. And he stepped in my body and rescued me from danger, and it was amazing. He jumped me completely out the way of danger, a backward somersault I did. I mean, that's how far I had to get away from it. He did a backward somersault, and all I could feel myself was curled up in a ball. The first thing I realised, it was so quick, I was curled up in a ball, doing a backward somersault, and I sort of unfolded so gently and landed so nicely, and that was Father God. And at that point, I was so thankful that, because it was a stupid mistake, and that I'd made, and I could have ended up in hospital because of it. So I was rescued by Father God, and very appreciative of it too. I was. So it's easy, we can make mistakes, and that's life, isn't it? But anyway, that's what I wanted to say about that. I've more or less covered most of what happened in my awakening with Peter now, but I'm going to upload one more video at least, and if I think of any more than that, I will, because the trouble is, Peter told me so much more, but I've got terrible memory for short-term memory and long-term memory. That's why I come out of school with no qualifications. I could not learn to read and write and do arithmetic and all the rest of it, so I come out with no qualifications, but I went shepherding and I excelled at it. So he said so much more, but I couldn't remember much of it. But I'm uploading one more video because I actually went to my birthplace and filmed at Goodwood Motor Circuit where I was born. So I was born to my mother Mary there, and that was a proof from God. And I was named Christopher, and my gran chose that middle name for me, Christopher, and it means love of Christ in the heart, because I've been a disciple of Christ in a past life, Mark, who wrote one of the 4 Gospels. So that was there in that video, and also where I grew up, and I later become a shepherd on that estate, which, if you're going to be an instrument of God, he wants you to be a shepherd or a fisherman, doesn't he? And I mean, shepherd's the obvious one. So yeah, and I'm talking about these things, and I've also got a lambing video somewhere on my main channel, on my Neil Cooper's channel. You can just search it, just go lambing time or something, and you'll find that video, because I won't put it on my new channel here. But yeah, I will upload this one of that, and I go up to Guildford and show you where I had lots of miracles and wonders and proofs happening to me. So it's quite an interesting video, about an hour long though, I think. Anyway, love and light to you, and I have subtitled all my videos on this channel as best I can. Some of it's auto, but it's as best I can do it, and I hope that be used by anybody that's wanting to watch from abroad, because I think it auto translates it into their language now, whatever they've selected their language as, which is great what YouTube's doing. So love and light to you, friends. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this channel and some of my stories that I've told on it of what's happened to me during my awakening and since. And, if I can think of anything more to add to it, I will. But I don't want to just pollute this channel with things that are not relative to my purpose, to the awakening and the different things that have happened. Anyway, love and light to you, and thanks so much for watching and supporting me. All the best to you, Neil.